Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the show, guys. I'm your host, Brett McCollum, and I'm here today with Dani Beit-Or. And today we're going to be talking about how he helps other investors buy rental properties. But before we do, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs to 5X their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and live the lives they've always dreamed of. Without further ado, Dani, how are you?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you so much for having me and letting me be part of your amazing show.
The pleasure is all mine, and I'm genuinely very excited to do this. Getting to talk to you a little bit before the show. I know we have a great podcast coming up for our audience to listen to. Before we get into everything, as we say here, Dani, give us some history, some context. Rewind. Who is Dani Beit-Or?
Sounds good. So I'm currently, I live in Southern California, but originally I'm from Europe. Grew up in Israel, and I moved here. I actually started investing as a young engineer back in 2002.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing is, I started investing in U.S. real estate in 2002. Google was considered a startup in 2002, just FYI. And me living in Tel Aviv and working in Tel Aviv for corporate world as a young engineer, buying in the US completely sight unseen. Of course I knew English, but I wasn't, fluid with English.
Right.
I knew of the culture because I went to high school for 2 years in DC. So I knew a little bit of the US, but never as an adult, and never, kind of into real estate. And it was all done out of state, different country, different regulation,
Wow.
different language, no Zillow, no public records online, no Google Maps, no Street View, all those beautiful tools that we have today, all none.
Yeah.
Sight unseen, bought a brand new home from a builder outside of Phoenix. And that was my taste, and I haven't looked back since. So that was my start back in 2002. And
Wow.
in 2004, I truly fell in love with it. So I decided that I wanted to move to the States and pursue this full time. And that's what I did. I just moved with my wife to California, the Bay Area first, later to Southern California, and pursue doing exactly that, continue investing in US real estate. Now it's local real estate. And 20 years later, I love it, man. I would say kicking ass. Maybe I should say that. Definitely. Not easy,
Yeah.
but definitely, yeah.
No, wow. That's awesome. Let's do that. Let me back up a little bit. So, did you say you went to high school here for a couple of years? Is that correct, in DC?
I did. My dad was a military attaché in DC, and I spent, sophomore and junior year in high school just outside of DC, 2 years. Gave me a true taste of the US in many ways. Very brief, very, very brief.
Sure, sure.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Taste, a lot. I fell in love. I can say I fell strongly in love with the US, and I already got my California dreaming. That's what brought me to California years
Yeah.
later. And that actually, luckily for me, that those 2 years, the two best things happened out of that. One, my English coming to the States as a teen was terrible, but I call it my survival mechanism. I had to learn quickly, so
Yeah.
I improved my English dramatically. That was one. And the second thing is the school I went to gave me the opportunity to actually finish high school at the end of the junior year. So by the time I was done, I was also done with high school. So that was also pretty
Wow.
awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And then you went back to Israel or did
Correct.
you go somewhere else?
No, back to Israel. Yep.
And then were you in college at that point, back home
Uh,
or what happened?
Israel, I kind of did finish few more credits uh, during senior year in Israel, just to wrap up and be more ready for the university down the line. As you probably know, or maybe people don't know, in Israel, when you get to 18, you are mandatorily drafted for at least 3 years. So I went to the military. It's not even an option for 3 years, and only then, after full combat special forces service, I went to get my engineering degree. And so in
Okay.
Israel, everything, all the adulthood in the sense of degrees and school and jobs really starts 3 to 4 to 5 years later, because
Right.
sometimes you have to wait until you get drafted. So you're not there, you can't do much. And then many times you take a breather, a gap year after the military. Everybody pretty much takes a gap year after an intense service. Everybody wants to blow some steam and have some fun. And then people really start their what you would call traditional adult life that
Right. Yeah.
usually starts here around the age of 18, 19. They typically started at 22, 20, 21, 22, 23, depending how quick they want to be. So that's very
Yeah.
common. It's nothing special. So that was kind of my journey. And interestingly enough, when I finished my degree and started, you know, um, um, getting those corporate world jobs, and I really enjoying my job, but I actually had a very interesting observation around 24, 25, maybe 25, 26. My observation was, here I am, I'm kind of starting my first or second year as a young engineer, and that's actually what drove me to consider investing. Is I looked at my parents, I looked at the uncles and my parents' friends and older cousins, and I could see that all of them are hard worker, quality people, working probably 15, 20 years into their jobs, doing well. And what do they have to show for all those 10, 15, 20 years?
Yeah.
Maybe a condo with a mortgage. Condo with a
Yeah.
mortgage. Nobody has a second. No one, except the exceptional someone who was kind of lucky, doesn't have the additional one single property. One.
Right.
And pay the price of hard working, missing on kids' stuff. And I'm looking at this. I'm saying, wait, what's happening here? Like this is the path I'm already on. Got my degree, started my corporate world job. I'm nice salary for my age. No complaints there. I like my job. Actually, At that point, my job started to be a little bit boring for me because it was not challenging enough.
Ah, yeah.
And I'm looking and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't know what the answer is, right? But
Right.
this path I don't like. Something is off. I don't know the answer, but I'm
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
not happy with the path. And that was the main thing, the major thing that shifted my mind, saying, hey, even if you don't know the right path or what is the answer, doesn't mean this is the correct one.
Yeah.
And then I started a journey of a year or so, really teaching myself about real life finances, like loans and say retirement accounts and all those things that we have in our life that are just sometimes we know what it means, but we don't really know what it means. I actually took the time for at least a year and a half, really visiting all those areas in our lives, really trying to educate me, an engineer by degree. I studied economics, but in real life finances, I know nothing. I feel illiterate. Uh,
Right.
so I went into that. I started really diving into all those nuances and understanding them and asking myself, how can I do it better? Which very naturally progressed to start looking to invest, and
Hmm.
wasn't immediately real estate. I started with stocks and options, and wasn't very happy with the results. And then I continued. I kept searching. I was on a quest, like I was an obsessive quest. Like I need to find something that makes more sense. Slowly, after maybe one more year, it kind of led me to the idea of real estate and U.S. real estate. And I think it's age 26 or 27, I bought my first rental property, like I said earlier, completely out of the country and all
Yeah.
of that. So that was the path that led me to the first one. And the first one, it's a love story that turned into a whole different thing, but that was a trigger, going after or getting to where I am today.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now here you are 23 years later. Golly,
Yeah.
man, that happened quick too. All right, so you buy your first property, you do that. It had to have went well enough to try it again. What was it, was it a rental property for you back then,
Yeah.
or?
It's a funny story. I bought a single family home, outside of Phoenix. I think it was 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, in a nice, very, middle class community. It was rented 45 days after closing. It was rented to this family that I knew. A property manager took care of everything. Um, Jumping forward, maybe 3 years later, it's now 2004 or five. I'm already in the States. I'm in California. I hop over to Phoenix to look at properties, to tour, and I'm taking the opportunity to go see my house. So here I am for the first time going to see my house that I purchased about 3 years earlier. And I get to the property and announced, coordinated, no surprises. And I just come to inspect it. And I am nice house, brand new from the builder, and I am kind of not pleasantly surprised, because as
Yeah,
soon as I got in, I could tell they are 4 kids, 2 dogs, hamster, and a bunny. This is not a joke. This is a true situation, right? For me. And I'm
yeah,
like, oh my God. Now I know they have, I think on the list, one pet. One pet. Where's the other few came from, right? And 4 kids. And I leave the place. I don't say anything. I leave. I'm like, what's happening? And that I'm, kind of nervous. And I'm like, I'm annoyed and nervous at the same time. By the time I get back to California, maybe a day or two later, I kind of calm down a little bit. Then I think about it. I say, wait, what's really happening here? I have this property with 4 kids, 4 pets, parents. I've never met the parents, by the way, my tenants. Um, and they've been there for 3.5 years. They've
Mm.
only been late once.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I'm like, that's not a bad story. I mean, they pay on
Sure.
time, were late. They paid, they were just late. By the time they moved out, because they bought their own home, they were there for 5.5 years. They were only late twice. They
Wow.
paid with a penalty twice in 5.5 years. I always thought that having a little zoo in Arizona, which the zoo only been paying late twice, it's not a bad day in the office, right? It's not a bad day as an investor.
Sure.
So when I really processed it, I'm like, okay, it's actually stable. It's actually fine. I just made a mental note that by the time they move out, to make sure none of the security deposit goes back to them, because that will go back to the house. And that's what happened, right? And by the way, the security deposit pretty much covered all the damages that they did, so that was fine. It turned out to be a really good story from that perspective. Also, this house appreciated so much. I was able to refinance it twice and buy more properties. So no complaints here.
Yeah, not at all. Well, do me
Yeah.
a favor, catch me up to speed now. Like, what is, because I mean, that's the start. You eventually you move to the States, you move to California. You're a full-time real estate investor. What year was that?
So 2004 is really when I start ramping up my activity and working with other investors, helping them do pretty much the same. And that was a nice run. 2004, 5, 6, 7, right? All my 5-year goals in 2004 get accomplished in 2.5 years. And then 2008 crash comes over and really kicks me to the ground in many ways.
Sure.
So the 2008 crash, when that came, that really impacted me on so many levels, on my own portfolio, my own performance, my own finances, emotionally. I felt like I'm in the center of the storm. It did not, pass me. And I'm like, oh, I've been there. I was there. Not only that I was there with my own issues, challenges, problems, I also made a promise to myself right around that time that this is tough period of time. I'm dealing with a lot of problems. My income dropped as well because it was real estate related. So I'm
Right.
down on the income, down on value. I mean, mess. But I dove in. I started looking for solutions to deal with the problems with all my portfolio. And also I made the promise that I made to myself. I said, any one of the people that I help them buy a property that is in similar situation, and many were in a similar situation, I'm not disappearing on them. And I'm going to be here. I'm going to take those calls. I'm going to try and help them. I'm going to let them vent out. Even, a lot of time people need to find someone to blame. If they want to blame me, right? Which people did, because they needed, it's never your fault. It's always someone else's. That's a lot of people's mentality. But I said, I'll pick up the phone, I'll call back, I'll be there, I'll try to help, I'll share with them what I've learned, how to get out of those, because I was really dealing with a lot of problems. So I'll share it back with them. Maybe they have something they learned they can share with me. And maybe it's obvious for you, like, of course, you would do that. And for me, it's very obvious based on my values that I would be there. But I can tell you that when I saw many people around me that were doing something, let's just say similar to what I was doing, maybe different, way going about it. When the crash of 2008 happened, some of those disappeared. All
Yeah.
those players or
Right.
experts, I didn't consider myself an expert. I was just an experienced investor who helped others, right? A lot of those experts disappeared completely. Many of them I've never seen since. I don't know what happened
Yeah.
to them. Some of them I've definitely seen after the things settled, maybe in 2010 or 11, all of a sudden, or 12. I see they're coming up all over again, which I was like appalled by it, but that's just me. I went through, I said, anybody, I will continue helping. And you know what? I didn't see it while I was going through this difficult times, but when I came on the other side, I felt that the crash of 2008 it not victimized me. I'm a graduate. I learned a lot. I
Yeah.
made sure that moving forward, I am tightening so many screws in my systems and improving it and polishing it. And so that was in many ways the crash of 2008. It was my springboard for the years to follow because things were
Yeah.
done so differently from the crash in so many ways. And the second promise I made to myself, if I've already been through that and I'm working with other investors to help them, accomplish similarly to what I do, I might as well share that information with them so
Yeah.
they can learn and benefit from, as well from my mistakes or my problems. So I'm leveraging that crash on a daily basis.
Yeah. No doubt. Man, yeah, and that's really good is take the lessons from the hard, difficult season to apply them
Exactly.
to, yeah, no, absolutely. That's the only way to do it. Um, how does business look today, Danny? What are you guys doing now?
So business, for the focus of the business is primarily helping our clients, who are for the majority of them are living in, this the Pacific side of the country between Seattle and San Diego through Silicon Valley and San Francisco and LA, Orange County, etc. But not just, also other parts of the country and Europe. Help them buy long-term, nice rental properties. I call it boring, the most boring real estate you can think of in Midwest, in the Southern Belt, in the Midwest, in Florida, Texas, other parts. So we facilitate those transactions by vetting markets and vetting opportunities and lining up strong, trustworthy teams on the ground in all those markets. So that's what we do day
Right.
in, day out, with a lot of attention to details and a lot of ways we keep challenging ourselves. I keep challenging myself. How can I go about it to still provide my clients a more of a safe, secure, lower risk opportunities, and at the same time find ways how to kind of mitigate the challenging cash flow. Cash flow has always been a challenge for investors, so there are ways to do that. So from traditional rentals, let's just say a nice single family home from built in 1990 in the suburb of Kansas City, right? Just 3-2, just as typical house. Now we're trying to make some twist on that model. And we do that, but by going to builders and negotiating a deal on multiple properties and get a better pricing. We started doing midterm rentals to boost the income and the cash flow. Uh, I just started doing subject to and VA loan assumption as well, again, to do the subject to improve the cash flow. So all those midterm rentals subject to VA loan assumption, those are all taking the basic model of this nice single family home in the suburb in a nice community, good schools, and trying to optimize it. What can I do to optimize the basic product? Which I have to tell you, if we just go and buy those nice rental properties around the country, even buy them at around market price or market value, not even great negotiation, I'm happy. I am long term, believe this is going to be a very solid investment. My role is to see if I can push it more. Can I optimize it even further
Right.
so I create a better situation for my clients, cash flow wise, equity wise? So it's only an optimization on a very fundamental, basic investment
Well,
vehicle.
when you say optimization, what are one or two things you might try and do?
So finding ways like subject to, for me, it's optimization because I'm able to step into, or a VA loan assumption, or instead of generating $300 or $250 a month or cash flow on a $300,000 home with a mortgage at 6.5 or 6.6 whatever percent, I'm generating $550 or $600 because we get a subject to with 3.25%, right? So that's a little bit of optimization with complexity, right? You got to understand the complexity. The midterm rentals, it's a very heavy on the operational and marketing side to find those type of midterm tenants. So a lot of effort goes into the supporting. It's not about the of course it's about the property, but it needs a strong operational and marketing behind it in order to increase the occupancy. So next week I'm heading to Florida to meet with a builder to see opportunities, again negotiating bulk purchase. So that's one. I'm flying to Atlanta to meet with the MTR, the midterm rental teams, in only to talk about midterm rentals and what we can do to improve our operations and marketing. Going over to from there to Tennessee to check on few projects that we already have or under contract. So next week I'm kind of hopping around. When I go to the field, it's mostly to build relationship, improve relationship, spend more time on programs. All the trip is to optimization for my clients. That's kind of my mindset. I've seen thousands of houses in my career. I always enjoy that, but that's never the goal for me to go and see houses. For me, it's the relationship along the way. What can we do in order to do optimizations on the very basic product of a nice piece of property, rental property?
Yeah, no, and I totally get. Often do I get people say to me like, you don't want to see the house?" And I'm like, "It's not that. I've seen your house 100,000 times over. So I mean, I don't need to see it."
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that, and that is really it's about the relationships.
Yeah.
That we build along the way, because ultimately, um, yeah, I love that. I mean, that's the way to do it. So, man, Danny, I think this is such a unique, not even unique, it's such a high level of service that you offer to our real estate space. If people want to connect with you, reach out, get to know you better, what does that look like?
So my web identity everywhere is my company's name, which is called Simply Do It. Simply Do It. I think it's easy to remember, a catchy name. If you write Simply Do It in real estate, or Simply Do It with Danny, or just probably Simply Do It by itself, it's very likely you will find my YouTube channel, our website, some of the social media, and from there, from there, heading over to us is super easy. Just remember, Simply Do It, and you're good to go.
Easy enough. That's it. Simply do it. Well, guys,
Yeah,
simply go and do it.
yeah,
And if you connect
exactly.
with Danny, jump
Yeah,
on there. We'll put that in the show notes, Danny, as well.
terrific.
Making sure, yeah, that's incredible. I love what you've done. I've loved your story, like um, building from overseas, and you're able to, here you are, and weathering the storm of 2008. And honestly, like, you're still thriving and weathering in an economic downturn that we're in, market cycle, right?
Right, exactly.
Um, it's just pivoting, and I've heard, I hear you say that without saying it, but that's what you did, with, you
Exactly
know,
that.
pivoting to sub to this, long term, mid term, just pivoting to handle the market as it comes. So, man, thanks you for sharing your story with us, spending your time with me, man. This is really good, man. I appreciate it.
Pleasure, my pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to share, and truly, I hope it inspires others to do. Because it's kind of funny in many ways. Many things that we do as real estate investors had become easier, not more difficult, right? All those tools that were not. Funny story: the property in Phoenix, when I bought it, I received a copy of a fax machine of the MLS print.
No way.
I wish
That's
I
funny.
kept it today as a nostalgia piece. It was so worn down. You could black and white. You couldn't see everything. I feel so old when saying it, but that was just the norm.
Yeah.
Email was around, but it was probably faxed at one point, and then or printed, and then scanned, and the resolution was, what a resolution! Oh my God,
Yes,
barely.
no doubt.
You could almost like, is this a house? Well, it's just kind of funny, right? That's long
Yeah,
gone, right? So much not what we're seeing today, which is awesome, awesome.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's. But now look at it. Now
Yeah,
in 20, like I said, 23 years later, it's an inspiration, man.
yeah,
I really appreciate you doing this.
perfect, excellent.
Yeah, well, perfect. Well, guys, also to you as well, thank you for spending your time with us, and we'll see each of you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.